Hi, congratulations. You are likely to be getting a Chrome cart, and this is a short presentation to kind of walk you through kind of the norms and expectations and guidelines around that particular privilege. So you'll see and you'll be signing a Chrome cart agreement, and we're going to be walking you through that agreement and kind of talking a little bit more about some of the things that we think are ChromeCare best practices. So we're first going to start off with the official agreement. Ultimately, the big picture here is that the Chrome cart becomes the responsibility of a particular teacher that has been appointed to have control over it within a classroom. So it becomes that person's responsibility, and by signing this agreement, you're agreeing that you will follow all of these guidelines. So the cart has to remain in the classroom that it has been assigned to at all time. The key that has been assigned to you, so every person who gets a cart will obviously get a key in order to unlock it, must be kept in a safe place and should only be used by you. And this key will be collected when the Chrome cart is returned at the end of the year. All Chrome carts will return for an inventory at some point near the end of the year. So you'll have to plan accordingly. Any issues with either the cart or books must be brought to the technology department and tech educators' attention immediately. So if you have an issue with your Chromebook, one of the best things that you can do would be for you to notify us and also submit a school dude. So that way we have an understanding as to the whereabouts of individual Chromebooks within a Chrome cart. All school dude requests will be made by you. So if there is an issue with a Chromebook that has a screen that isn't working or one of the buttons has an issue, the responsibility of who should fill out and handle those kinds of tech requests should go through you. Supervisor approval is required in order to break up a Chrome cart. So if you do want to break up the Chrome cart and you want to have 5 somewhere and 5 somewhere else within the cart, that's okay, but it needs to be approved by the supervisor. And be aware that all violations of these rules ultimately violate your acceptable use agreement. So now we're going to walk you through what we think are some good practices when it comes to use of the Chrome carts that aren't really a part of the Chrome cart agreement, but something we're calling ChromeCare. These practices are highly recommended to ensure the security and the maintenance of the carts. Make sure that you plug in the Chromebook and Chrome carts. This is a picture of what the carts actually look like, and you notice that they're all plugged in. These wires actually are very tightly taut to each one of the different sections, and it should be in the very beginning very difficult for you to plug in the Chromebook with the wrong Chrome slot, like you would have a wire that was misplaced. But if your students end up tugging on this wire, they can become pretty long and it can get very messed up in there. So please make sure that as you have the cart over the course of the year, that you try to make sure that the wire doesn't get pulled out too much, and if it does, that you make sure that the students are putting it back with the correct wire. One thing that might be a good idea is to have students to help you. Wiring is to be kept neat, and don't unwire the entire interior of the cart. So please keep the wiring the way that it is. You'll notice here that this is the divider, and then there's a little tie that keeps the wire with the divider, and then it gets hooked into the bottom. So there's a very particular way that the Chromebooks must go back into the cart. As always, with any cart that you either could borrow from the DLC or that you could coming into the DLC, or even if you have a cart prior to this, no substitutes should be permitted to use and operate the Chrome carts or the Chromebooks. So you'll need to make your subplans accordingly. The cart at first can be difficult to figure out how it gets locked and unlocked, so you have to make sure that you do lock the carts and that they're properly stored when not in use. That means that it would be locked. And I know that it might seem a little bit simple, but I think it's not necessarily entirely intuitive as to how you actually open the cart. So we made some quick video to show you how to do that. I'll replay it. So that's how that door opens. It's kind of similar to the first set of carts that we got. And this is how you close it. Notice it has to get locked after. And that's how you ensure it. And then I'm pressing down just to make sure that it actually is locked. It is suggested that a student is in charge to make sure that the ChromeCare is followed. So one thing that many teachers have done is that they have all the students put the Chromebooks back into their proper slots. And then you have one student who goes back in and makes sure that it's done correctly, and that one student can just plug them all in. This ensures that the carts are plugged in correctly. It is suggested also that teachers assign a Chromebook number to each student for use over the entire year. So one thing you can do is you can set up a spreadsheet, you could set up a spreadsheet and have a number assigned to each student, and then that way they're responsible, they can know who, it can narrow it down if there's an issue with Chromebook number 4, let's say, as to who the student might have been that was the issue with that particular Chromebook. And if they don't put it in the proper slot, you can let them know that they're the ones that are not putting it in the proper slot. So please assign a Chromebook number to each student over the course of the year. And that's really it. Hopefully you guys will have a good year with the Chromebooks, and if you have any issues or concerns about the use with the Chromebooks, please let us know. And if you're looking for some people to help you integrate the use of the Chromebooks in the classroom in any way, please contact myself or Nicole Hunter. So thank you very much.